This is what Nadigram looked like today, ladies and gentlemen. This is what the constituency where sitting Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee will be mounting her fight for survival looked like today. And as you can see, the symbolism couldn't have been more stark. Temples, religious symbolism, saffron, the Hindu girl hitting the temple circuit in the most unabashed manner a day after she spent 12 minutes on stage declaring war on the BJP in the BJP's own language, with mantras, with chants, invocations of deities, and with Hindu symbolism like never before. She's capped it off with a non-stop temple run today in different parts of Nadigram. It appears that this week, Mamata Banerjee has said, enough is enough. I've been taunted enough as far as being an appeaser-in-chief is concerned. Here, this is my Hinduness. I'm going to give it to you straight in your face. Indrajit Kundu is with me live. In fact, as I bring you this broadcast, that's how fast things are moving. Mamata Banerjee is in the place called Shibrampur in Nadigram, where she's visiting the latest in a long string of temples and places of worship today. Indrajit, quick word from you. What's happening right now with Mamata?
Well, Shiv, that's right. Mamata Banerjee is on a temple hopping spree today. First in Haldia, now once again back in Nadigram. And I will try and give you a sense of what's happening on the ground. This is quite an interior place in Nadigram 2, block of Nadigram Vidhan Sabha constituency. This is the temple that Mamata Banerjee is going to visit. This, of course, is an under construction temple. I will show you the kind of frenzy, the kind of crowd that she draws wherever she goes. This is a crowd that is waiting eagerly. And look at the dominance of women here. Everybody, all women from this area, from this locality, they're all sitting here eagerly waiting with their children to just catch a glimpse of West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. So this is what the Trinamool Congress is aiming at, to somehow bring women voters into the fold, because as we know, that Mamata Banerjee does command a huge respect and popularity within women folks, especially in rural Bengal. And therefore, Mamata Banerjee, as you just said, is on a temple hopping spree today, trying to give it back to the BJP as good as she gets over the appeasement politics allegation. And she has already gone to about 3-4 temples that we could follow. In fact, the entire media entourage is trying to chase her from one place to the other in Nadigram. We've finally been able to reach this place where Mamata Banerjee is expected in a short while from now, where she will not just pay her prayers at the temple, but she is also expected to speak to all these women who are waiting out here in Nadigram constituency. Back to you.
Amazing symbolism, Indro. You know, Goddess Durga, the Chandi Path that was chanted by Mamata Banerjee yesterday, a couple of days ago, the big, Women's Day message that she sent out. Today, this large crowd of women waiting outside this temple where you are in Shibrampur. You know, all of this, this goddess imagery being very, very carefully projected by Mamata Banerjee where you are.
Well, absolutely. Make no mistake about it, because when I spoke to Suvendu Adhikari, her challenger, earlier this morning, he categorically said that, if Mamata Banerjee and Trinamool comes to power, Hindus would be under assault in West Bengal. So, there is no mistake about this. The BJP is going with a campaign. The agenda is that Hindus are under fire here in West Bengal. And it's an uphill task for Mamata Banerjee to counter that Hindutva narrative and that Hindus are under threat here in West Bengal. I'll quickly try and speak to a few women out here and see as to what is the pulse of the mood. Didi ke তৃণমূল পার্টি করেন এমনি এসেছে?
এমনি তৃণমূল পার্টি।
দিদিকে কেন ভালো লাগে?
দিদিকে আমাদের ভালো লাগে। দিদি অনেক উপাদান পাই, এটা আমাদের মেয়ে। দিদি আমাদের ঘরের মেয়ে।
আপনার ঘরের মেয়ে?
হ্যাঁ, আমরা ঘরের মেয়ে। দিদিকে আমরা জিতাতে চাই, আমরা সবাই সব
দিদির মধ্যে কি নিজেকে দেখতে পান?
হ্যাঁ, দিদির মধ্যে আমরা দেখতে চাই।
So what they're trying to say is Didi আমাদের ঘরের মেয়ে, which is that Didi is the daughter of our own family. And this is exactly the campaign that has been launched by the Trinamool Congress, Bangla Nijer Meki Chai, or Bengal wants its own daughter. And you see, that is having a reflection here with the amount of women, if my camera person can show, who have gathered here.
Yeah,
predominantly women audience, and Mamata Banerjee is targeting them.
Indra, thanks very much for that ground report. The latest location that Mamata Banerjee has stopped at, where Indra is reporting from, is Shibrampur in Nadigram. And we'll go back there in just a moment. But I want to show you, the viewer, that if you've just been tuning in, this is only the latest layer on Mamata Banerjee's itinerary. It's been non-stop. She hasn't had a moment of rest. This is Mamata's Hindutva war against the BJP that actually began yesterday. Both Mamata and Suvendu Adhikari, a rival in this constituency, are on a temple hopping spree. Mamata played the Hindu card to the hilt, but the BJP seems unimpressed. In fact, it's taking credit for this temple run. Take a look.
Namastarshay, 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 namo namo.
Didi, who is a Durga Bhakt,
Shanti Rupena Samastita, namastarshay, namastarshay.
under fire from the BJP for allegedly being anti-Hindu. Mamata played the Hindu card to the hilt. Temple hopping in battleground Nadigram.
যারা হিন্দু মুসলমান করছেন তাদের আমি পরিষ্কার বলি, শুনে রাখুন, আমিও হিন্দু ঘরের মেয়ে, আমার সাথে হিন্দু কার্ড খেলতে যাবেন না।
But the BJP is unimpressed with Mamata's newfound Hindu avatar, calling it a desperate poor leave stunt after years of minority appeasement.
बाहरे मोदी, आज दीदी चंडी पाठ कर रही हैं। बाहरे मोदी, दीदी चुनाव जो न कराए आपको।
The Congress too mocked Mamata, accusing her of competing with the BJP in Hindutva politics.
ममता बनर्जी ये पहली बार अपने को ये साबित करने का कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि वो एक ब्राह्मण लेडी है। वो आम लोगों के सामने जाके ये कहती थी कि देखो मैं हिजाब पहनते हैं। ममता बनर्जी ये साबित करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि मैं भी बीजेपी से कम हिंदुत्ववादी नहीं हूं।
Mamata's Nadigram rival Suvendu Adhikari had already slammed Didi, accusing her of wrongly chanting mantras.
আর এমন ঠেলায় না পড়লে বিড়াল গাছে ওঠে না। কালকে জানকীনাথ মন্দিরে রামকে প্রণাম করছি, তাও জুতা পরে, চটি পরে, ভেজাল হিন্দু, খুব সাবধান।
BJP Bengal did a fact check on the right way to chant mantras, advising Mamata to limit herself to reciting kalma or the Islamic prayers.
আমি একটা চণ্ডী পাঠ করি। মধুকৈটব বিদ্রাব বিবিধাত্রি পরদে নমো। বিদ্রাব বিবিধাত
মধুকৈটব বিধ্বন্তি বিধাত্রি বরদে।
Is Mamata beating BJP at its own game?
আমার সাথে হিন্দু কার্ড খেলতে গেলে আগে বলুন আপনি নিজে ভালো হিন্দু কিনা। হিন্দু ধর্মের আদর্শ মানুষকে ভালোবাসা।
Or walking into a carefully laid out Hindutva trap.
चुनाव समाप्त होते हुए ममता दीदी भी जय श्री राम बोलती हो जाएगी, आप चिंता मत करिए।
ইয়া দেবী সর্বভূতেষু।
With Paulomi Saha in Nadigram and Indrajit Kundu in Kolkata, Bureau Report, India Today.
নমস্তার্ষৈ, নমস্তার্ষৈ, নমো নমঃ।
So those chants are still echoing across the political landscape, but the tone and tenor of the fight in Nadigram appears to have been set as far as Mamata Banerjee is concerned. It's the subject of a lot of analysis, but that imagery is going to continue. Joining me live now from Bengal, Priyanka Tibrewal, spokesperson of the BJP. Deep Haldar is executive editor, India Today Digital. He's just written a book on the Bengal election as well, which we'll talk about. We also have Riju Datta, spokesperson of the Trinamool. But I'm going to start with Rimjim Mitra, who is an actor and also a member of the BJP, who's with me live as well this evening. Rimjim, welcome. First time you're here on the show with us. What did you think? What did you think, Rimjim, of Mamata's message yesterday? From the stage, a lot of Hindu symbolism was used. A lot of chanting was done by Mamata Banerjee. Today, she's visited a large number of temples. What did you think of that, Rimjim?
I'm reminded of a saying which goes, nearest to the church but farthest from God. And so we've all heard this very, very old saying in our childhood. Mamata Banerjee's show yesterday reminded me of that. Even her today's show is reminding me of that. I mean, she always recite the mantras wrongly. Even the Saraswati Puja mantra, which a child knows by heart, she recites it in a wrong way. And forget about the Chandi Path. She messed it up really badly. And the words she actually replaced the actual mantra with, if you translate that into Bangla, it means, Durga Vinash. What she actually ended up saying was, let's destroy Durga from the base. That is what she ended up saying. So that is how hilarious she the process. And this is not going to work. I mean, why is she playing the Hindu card now? She's a Chunavi Hindu, or you can call her a Chunavi Muslim. She's a Hindu by day and Muslim by name. But there's no color. He's already fizzled out from the fight, and people are not going to be fooled, I think, anymore by her stunts. I would call these stunts and nothing more.
Rimjim, but why do you think Mamata Banerjee is doing this now? The reason I'm asking that is because Mamata Banerjee has repeatedly said, keep religion separate from politics. We don't want to mix the two. Religion is a private thing. But in the last 2 days, religion has very much become a part of her politics. Do you think it's because of the BJP's campaign that she's been forced to, take up all this chanting and this temple hopping and what she's doing right now?
See, BJP has never shied away from saying that whether a member of the BJP endorses Hinduism or Islam, for that matter. And Mamata has always been, Banerjee has always been known for using the minority as just a vote bank in West Bengal. I mean, this is a topic that has been discussed over and over and over. Nobody knows about it. And so now suddenly desperation is showing, you see, because the Hindus are not, the Bengalis or the natives of West Bengal are not so naive anymore. Because here, a political party which is trying to bring in the uniform code, down upon as a fundamentalist, whereas a party or another party like PMC who claim that another party which openly supports the Sharia law, they are like liberals.
Okay, I'm going to try. Rimjim, there's a bit of a problem with your audio, which I'm going to try and fix. In the meanwhile, while we fix Rimjim's audio, I want to bring in Riju and Priyanka and Deep. To you first, Riju. It looks like Mamata is not letting go of this Hindu-ness. What happened on stage yesterday was not a one-off. It looks like she has embraced the Hindu messaging, and she's decided to go very, very big with it. Riju, is there a reason for that?
Shiv, she does not need to embrace Hinduism. Is the country so radicalized that to perform our festivals or do Chandi Path, we have to take a certificate from RSS or the BJP? I think it is not. So if you go into the annals of history and if you go on your smartphone, you will see Mamata Banerjee chanting Chandi mantra in 2013, 2014. And if your channel covers Durga Puja, every Durga Puja inauguration, she chants this mantra. It is nothing new. Now, the bottom line here is, you have to understand this. BJP, see, the fake son of Nadigram wanted to take credit for the Nadigram movement. That did not happen because Mamata Banerjee is the architect and inspiration of Nadigram and Singur movement. Now he's trying to take credit for Hindutva, but let me tell you, it is not about the BJP or the BJP netas or what their narrative is. You have heard what your reporter has just asked the people and the women of Nadigram. And yesterday, it was covered fantastically in India Today, where your reporter said, and I quote, vintage Mamata Banerjee. So the bottom line is votes. Mamata Banerjee declared her candidacy in 18 January. And now she is visiting temples. And if you categorically remember, she has visited a mazar also yesterday. So she is the definition of secularism. We are doing what we do best. So is BJP so rattled that now Mamata Banerjee is beating them at their own game, that they are playing this blame game and this credit game? Arey Baba, the bottom line is people are going to vote. First you go to the people and try to convince the people. You can take all the...
I want to get into the specifics of it. I want to get into the specifics of it because it is one thing to recite the Chandi Path before every Durga Puja. And you know where I stand on this. I think all manner of political messaging is completely fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's interesting to discuss it because of the dynamics of what's happening in Bengal. I just want to keep that very clear. Priyanka, the BJP has called Mamata Chunavi Hindu, have, basically said she's an opportunist. All manner of things have been said. Is the BJP in some way taking credit for getting Mamata to start embracing her Hinduness and project it in this manner? Because on the one hand, the BJP is laughing at her, because the impression is that this is uncomfortable territory for Mamata Banerjee, who the BJP labels as an appeaser-in-chief. On the other hand, the BJP is also taking credit for this temple run.
Well, first of all, very good evening, Shiv, and to all the people and the co-panelists here. See, I really pity on Mr. Datta because at times he needs to defend things which are undefendable. And today, Shiv, I will just start with 2 lines of Kabir which comes to my mind, that Moko kahan dhoonde re bande, main to tere saath hu, na girje mein, na mandir mein, na Kaabe Kailash mein. So what is the need for Mamata Banerjee today to go mandir to mandir? Why is she stepping from one mandir to the other? See, she has been elected chief minister for 2 times. That time she didn't go to the mandir. The need wasn't there. Now, why it wasn't there? That is the question. Because it is Mamata Banerjee, not the BJP. It is she herself who has practiced the minority appeasement policy, which came before the people of West Bengal. They understood that she is standing only with one particular community. So the people did not want to accept that. So now today she is trying to show that, no, see, I am a Hindu too. Now, what is the reason for this desperation? See, she is exposed today. TMC standing exposed today. Because the more they are trying to do, the more foolish they appear. And it is not that BJP is asking them that go temple to temple. You are doing it. And if you are doing it and you know that BJP wants you to do this, then you are all the more foolish to do the same. It is just your desperation which is now being exposed in front of people.
Let me bring Deep in before I come to you, Riju, for a rebuttal on that. Deep, how do you see this? Why, because it is true that one hasn't seen this kind of high-tempo temple hopping before. I mean, I'm sure Riju is right when he says in 2013, Mamata Banerjee recited, etc. But obviously something is different here. You've been reporting from Bengal. You've just written a book on the Bengal elections. How would you read what Mamata Banerjee has done for the last 24 hours in Nadigram?
I think, Shiv, the point here is that we need to go back in time. We need to go back in time to 2006. Nadigram was the epicenter of Mamata Banerjee's battle against the left-front government. 34 years of left-front rule, and then, Buddhadev Bhattacharya wanted to bring in land acquisition and, Salem Group and all of that. 14 people killed in police firing. It's Nadigram and then Shingo that brought Mamata Banerjee to power in Bengal in 2011. So why does she need to play the BJP's game? Let's not get into whether she's doing it right or wrong. She's out BJPing the BJP, or
that we know only on the second.
That BJP and the TMC can sort of continue to debate on. But the point is the fact that she has to go back to Nadigram and also play the Hindu card, and so strongly says that something has changed because it's excuse me, because it's Nadigram that brought Mamata Banerjee to power, Nadigram and then Shingo.
Right.
So, I mean, what changed in all these years? Obviously, there's no, and there are talks that there's no development in that area. I mean, except a few roads here and there, 100 days employment. There is a groundswell of anger against Mamata Banerjee, not just there, across many parts of Bengal. So the fact that you need to even play this game, it's not something BJP is, of course, not just BJP. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary today has congratulated the Prime Minister for making Mamata Hindu. So, why do you need to play the game in the first place?
Right. Interesting. Rimjim, Riju, I'm going to come right to you. Rimjim, you want to make a point on that? the reason why Mamata Banerjee, has detected some kind of change, the reason why we've already discussed why she felt the need to go back to Nadigram and not fight in Bhawanipur, but the reason why she's playing, as Deep calls it, the BJP's game.
See, I think she's a little late because she's put up candidates who very famously have been going around demeaning Hindu gods and goddesses. There's one candidate for Asansol named Shani. She's my colleague also, but she was very famously, she was very famous for once, ridiculing a Hindu god and putting a condom on a shivling. And now she's the only, she's TMC's candidate, and she's going around offering pujas at temples. And so I think Ms. Banerjee is a little too late in this game. But it's good that she's at least visiting the temples.
Riju, you've heard three things being said. Respond to all of them.
See, first of all, I will say this, that, it is very rich coming from BJP or BJP's representatives when they talk about respecting gods and goddesses. Shiv, I'll just jog your memory. Remember India Today conclave in Calcutta, what Dilip Ghosh said about Ma Durga? And then Aaj Tak with Anjana Kashyap, what Dilip Ghosh said against Prabhu Ram, that he is not even a god, he's just a king, and that is why we politicize him.
People
so,
who do not understand gods and goddesses, people who do not understand Hinduism.
Priyanka, don't start all this.
This explanation won't do.
So please hear this.
This explanation won't do.
President insults Ma Durga and Lord Ram, you don't come across as saying that you are the caretakers of Hindutva, number one. Number two, in the past,
if you respect Ram, say Jai Shri Ram.
Okay, one second.
Mr. Datta, please say Jai Shri Ram if you respect Ram.
Rimjim and Priyanka, let him finish, then I'll come to you. You can respond to him.
Comment of yours. Okay, now my question is, when Mamata Banerjee sanctioned the Dakshineshwar skywalk, when she gave 350 crores to Dakshineshwar temple beautification, when she sanctioned the Kalighat skywalk, when she gave free land for the ISKCON temple, was she not a Hindu, or was it not because it was not political season, so BJP didn't come running buying credit for that also? So the bottom line here, Shiv, is very simple, and BJP is trying to become the copyright holders of Hindu religion. What have they done for Hindus? As far as I remember, they have sent in the name of NRC 12 lakh Hindus into detention camps. So the bottom line is, you can take credit, you can do your narrative, you do your communal and divisive politics. Bottom line is, the people are going to vote, and Mamata Banerjee is beating at your own game because you have no agenda other than the religion card, and that is also not working now.
Priyanka,
so you guys are rattled because you have no agenda, no religion card.
Explain this to the people of Bengal, Mr. Datta.
You please explain. On 2nd of May, you will get
now this won't work. Now this won't work.
Let's put our three guests on air. Let's put our three guests on air so that we can see all three of them. Let Priyanka finish.
Explain it to the people of Bengal that till date, if you are a Hindu, if you respect gods and goddesses, say Jai Shri Ram.
Why is
what is the fear in saying Jai Shri Ram? Say Jai Shri Ram.
When you
say Jai Shri Ram, Mr. Datta.
Riju, one sec.
Prove your Hinduism, say Jai Shri Ram. No, you won't. No, you won't. So the people of Bengal know you very well now. No matter how much you try, why are you wanting to bring in religion? I want to speak about the development of Nadigram. I want to speak about
Deep also mentioned the development issue, but let's focus for a moment on the symbolism.
Development. Mr. Datta, what have you done about the development of Nadigram? Because we will do it right now. We will do it, Mr. Datta. After 5 years, we will tell you what we have done. After 5 years, when we approve you this year from power, after that 5 years, we will show you what we do for West Bengal.
Okay.
How the middle class
has already come. We will show you what we'll do for people.
Do you know how the middle class has been tested? Do you think every man and woman of this country will
God will answer your prayers soon. On
who are you kidding?
Your prayers will
who
be
are you
answered.
kidding?
We will show you after that.
No, this is almost, if we have, just 1 second, if we
listen,
yesterday,
Shiv, 1 second,
I want to make a point and bring in Deep and Rimjim also.
They are being so anti-Muslims here. One thing
I
want
know,
to make a point that if these Arabic countries hear the
I am also wondering, one second. No,
you have to be scared because you haven't worked for West Bengal. That is why you are
your fake son of Nadigram, your Rabindranath Tagore lookalike, nothing is working.
Why didn't you work?
Can I come in just for a moment? Can I come? Okay.
Rabindranath Tagore lookalike.
You know, see, the only thing this actually establishes, the only thing.
Son of Nadigram.
Okay, one second. Riju, Priyanka, hold your horses. 1 second. Just give me a small word edgewise. I know I'm the anchor. I have to try and get my voice heard also. I know this is an emotive topic, so I'm not going to stop anyone from having strong views on this. That's totally understandable. I am simply asking. First, I'll ask Rimjim this, and then Deep can also weigh in. Yesterday, we had Mamata Banerjee on stage, chanting the mantras. Forget about whether she got it wrong. You know, that's between the BJP and the Trinamool. Let's talk about this politically speaking. Today, she went on the temple run. You know, tomorrow she might do something else. There'll be some more symbolism. Rimjim, you know, is this the kind of thing that the BJP wanted? A kind of race for Hindutva credentials? Because that's what it's become. That's what it's become now.
Listen, all that the BJP wants is development for Bangla. And that is what Nadigram, especially since it's the issue today, has been deprived of. We've all seen that. And you're mentioning about some other symbolism. Well, she was already noticed yesterday partaking of prayers at the Dargah and absolutely undermining the minority sentiments, because that is not how they pray. They pray separately. A woman is not allowed to stand with the men and pray, be it a Dargah or wherever they pray, not a masjid where women are allowed. I'm talking about that. And she's already started that. So everybody can see through that. I mean, it's no point doing that. If you're a true Hindu, embrace that. If you're a true Muslim, embrace that. Nobody's stopping you from that. But our lookout is development, basically, and nothing else.
When Narendra Modi went to Pakistan to have free biryani and sit in a masjid and reciting Quran, what happened then? He was not a true Hindu. What happened?
Have a glass of water.
You prove your Hinduism to the people of Bengal. You don't need to show it to us.
When Khalilur Rahman was inducted, he was not a Hindu.
Why? What is the need?
This has become who's a real Hindu now.
Prove that you are a Hindu.
I mean,
people are born with their religion. Why do you need to prove it?
Exactly.
You make people believe that you are not a Hindu. That is why
you not wanted Mamata Banerjee when she just practicing her religion. What is the big deal now?
Hinduism.
Exactly, Priyanka Tibrewal. The Constitution empowers us to practice our religion. So Mamata Banerjee as a Hindu is visiting temples. What is the big deal?
Let me bring Deep in. He's been waiting patiently.
You did not allow people for the Durga Puja Visarjan. We had to go to the court.
Deep.
What happened to Deep in? Why did Bihar Durga Puja procession was stopped? Why did you?
I understand. Our viewers can barely hear the points being made when there is cross-talk. That's my only appeal.
I cannot hear people talking rubbish.
No. One second.
The other day, Mr. Datta was very worried. The other day, Mr. Datta was very worried whether I am getting a ticket or not. But look at the fate.
Okay, let's keep the personal stuff out of this. Let's keep the personal stuff out of this.
Why are you not getting a ticket?
No, let's keep. This is not. Come on, guys. You are bigger than this.
Exactly.
This is not about tickets. Come on.
Yes, the criminals like Madam Mitra got a ticket.
Riju and Priyanka, this is not about the tickets. I hope both of you get tickets at some point. Come on, this is not about tickets, guys.
I guess you need a degree of.
Why Suvendu Adhikari got a ticket? Is he not probed by CBI in the Nadigram scam?
Let's.
Suvendu Adhikari not probed by CBI?
TMC has made that a criteria.
So your boss is a criminal.
One second. Okay, let me jump in.
2010.
Riju and Priyanka, 1 second. This is not about tickets. Come on, guys. It's bigger than that. You know, with great of respect to the both of you, let me just try and bring it back to the topic. There are so many things to talk about, but we need to focus this. Deep, is the BJP, you know, in some ways happy with what's going on? Because I'll tell you, the reason I'm asking is because the Trinamool constantly says we don't want to talk about anything except for development.
Right.
The last 24 hours, like you said, they've maybe sensed some kind of change, and they've started talking the language of the BJP itself. Is that some kind of a danger sign in some way, or is it just saying, to hell with you guys, we can speak the same?
You know, Shiv, Mamata doing Chandi Path reminded me of Arvind Kejriwal reciting the Hanuman Chalisa before the Delhi polls. But Arvind Kejriwal had a lot of other talking points to offer. In Delhi, for instance, there was free power, free water, good government schools. So when the BJP came in very strongly, and it always does in state elections and central elections, that is not the only, you can't be a one-trick pony.
Right.
So to take on the BJP, and there was mixed messaging from AAP because Shaheen Bagh protests were on at that time. So, some kind of counter.
So you're saying it's totally different in Bengal?
Yes, totally different in Bengal. Why are you just talking about a Chandi Path or temple hopping? Nadigram is your place.
Yeah.
I mean, now of course you are against Suvendu Adhikari, who was your lieutenant till a while back.
Yeah.
So you are completely playing the BJP's game. You need to say, you need to have other talking points.
And the thing is, it's not just in the last 24 hours. Deep is right, as we all know, as we've all seen, and I'd like all of you to stay with me as I play this report of how for the last few weeks and in fact even months, Hindu deity after Hindu deity has become a protagonist in this election. From Lord Ram to Saraswati to Durga. Today we've seen the Chandi goddess. We've seen the Shiv Mandir also come into the picture. We've seen Hanuman being garlanded as well. Here's a report on all the deities. It's become a pantheon of Hindu deities that are now taking center stage in this election. Take a look. First, it was Durga Bhakti and Saraswati Bhakti. Now Mamata's gone all out with Shiv Bhakti and an invocation of goddess Chandi. The pantheon of Hindu deities being lined up for the Bengal election is only increasing. In the last 24 hours, Didi has gone all out with her Hindu credentials, taking the Bengal deity war with the BJP to the next level. 100% Dharam ki Rajniti in a hot Bengal summer.
Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Lajja Rupena Samastita Namastashay 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 Namo Namo Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Mahalakshmi Rupena Samastita Namastashay 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 Namo Namo Om Sarvamangala Mangalle Shive Sarvata Sadike Saranye Tambake Gauri Nara Namastute Sisti Stiti Vinashanam Shakti Bhute Sanatoni Gunasroy Gunomoi Narayani Namastute Ami boli Om Mahadevang Mahattanang Mahajogi Maheswaram Mahapapo Horong Devang Makaray Namo Namo Namaste Brahmanno Devayago Brahmanno Hitayacho Jagodhitai Krishnayo Govindayo Namo Namo. After sounding the poll war cry from Nadigram against her friend-turned-rival Suvendu Adhikari, Mamata has unleashed a ferocious campaign to dent the BJP's Hindutva plank. Be it chanting mantras on stage, or visiting Shiv and Durga mandirs. Mamata is flaunting her Hindu credentials by lining up the deities without hesitation. On the other hand, Suvendu Adhikari too visited temples before filing his nomination. After Lord Ram, he's added Lord Hanuman to the ever-increasing list of his own deities, mocking Mamata over her new Hindutva avatar.
চটকে পিন্ডি চটকে দিচ্ছে বলছে সরস্বতী পুজো কুচো যুগ ভুইসুত শুনেছেন কখনো বাপের কালে আর কাল তো চণ্ডীকে যা করেছে বাবা মা চণ্ডীকে ভগবান রক্ষা করো.
In the run-up to polls, Bengal has witnessed innumerable showdowns over Hindu gods and goddesses. From poll rallies to the recent India Today conclave east in Kolkata, the fight over Kiske Ram and Kiski Ma Durga is endless.
और जय श्री राम वो कहते हैं, हम तो जय सिया राम कहते हैं. जय सिया राम मीन्स सीता एंड राम.
और ये जय श्री राम का नारा जो आक्रोश के साथ सुनाई पड़ता है, वो आक्रोश ममता बनर्जी की सरकार की तुष्टीकरण की, अपीसमेंट की, वोट बैंक की राजनीति की जो इंतहा हो गई, एक लिमिट आ गई है, इसके खिलाफ. Mamata's nephew Abhishek Banerjee even compared the chief minister to Ma Durga.
মমতা বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায় মা দুর্গার প্রতিচ্ছবি দাঁড়িয়ে আছে. আগামী দিন মহিষাসুরগুলো বধ হওয়া শুধু সময়ের অপেক্ষা. এটাই আজকে আমাদের সবার অঙ্গীকার হোক.
battle for Bengal is more than a clash of personalities. It's become a race for who is more Hindu. Alongside all of the deities lined up, it's become a temple run. But whether mantras guarantee votes will only be known on the 2nd of May. Bureau Report, India Today.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.